Hello students. We will continue with the chapter how do organisms reproduce. So today we will discuss about human reproduction. Now, as you all know that our body changes as we become older. What happens? Our height increases from class 2 to 10. Our height increase, weight also increases, and the milk teeth fall down, and we acquire the new set of permanent teeth. So all these changes can be grouped under general process of growth, okay, in which the body becomes larger. But what happened at a certain age, which is generally called as teenage, okay, which begins from 13 and which is from 13 to 18, or in some cases 12 to 18 also. What happens? Whole new set of changes occur that cannot be explained simply as body enlargement. Okay, and what happens during this period? The reproductive organs, they become mature and they become functional. Means the gametes are produced. In the male the sperms are produced, and in the female the eggs are produced, and they are capable of reproduction and producing a offspring. So that happens. Okay, and this process of physical change, okay, through which a child body matures into an adult body capable of sexual reproduction, or when the reproductive organs mature and become functional, is called as puberty. So puberty is a stage when the sex organs, they mature and they become functional. Okay, and why it happens? Because at certain stage, at certain age, some hormones are secreted in the blood, and when these hormones are secreted in the blood, the reproductive organs, they mature. Understood? Now, in boys it is testosterone which is secreted, and in girls it is progesterone or progesterone which is secreted. It is secreted in the ovaries, and they are secreted in the gonads. Understood or no? In boys it is secreted in the testes. I hope it is clear. Now all these changes takes place slowly over the period of months and years. They do not happen all at the same time in one person, nor do they happen at an exact age. In some people they happen early and quickly, while in others they can happen very slowly. Okay. So now, what are the primary sexual characters and what are the secondary sexual characters? I hope puberty everyone has understood. So primary sexual characters are the organs which are present at birth and comprise of external and the internal genitalia. And secondary sex characteristics are features that appear during puberty only. Okay, so primary, that is present by birth only, like the primary sex organs, they are present by birth, but in secondary certain they develop during puberty. Now, what are the secondary sexual characteristics at puberty, and what is the thing which triggers puberty? It is the hormones which is secreted by the brain. Testosterone, it is secreted in the testes, and estrogen or progesterone, it's secreted in the ovary. Now the secondary sexual characters at puberty, please see this chart. In males the voice becomes much lower, it breaks. In females the breast grows, the nipple enlarges. In males, the hairs start to grow on chest, face, underarms, and in the pubic area. And in females, the hair develops underarms and in the pubic area. In males, body becomes more muscular, and in females, the hip become wider. In males, the penis become larger, and in females, the uterus and the vagina becomes larger. In males, the testes start to produce sperms, and in females, the ovaries start to release eggs, and period begins, or the menstruation starts. So these are certain secondary sex characters, and these occur only when the hormones are released in the blood. And when the hormones are released in the blood, then the organism, male and females, they are able to produce the male and the female gametes, and in females the menstruation also begins at the age of puberty. Now we will discuss about male reproductive system. Now, students, for male reproductive system, for the diagrams, you can refer page 137 of NCERT book. So, when you see the video, please open that page and you can see the diagrams from the book. Now, male reproductive system consists of the following organs. Testes. The testes are also called as testicles, and they are two oval-shaped organs in the male reproductive system. Okay, you can see in the diagram which is given in your book, that is figure 8.10 on page 137. They are contained in a skin which is called as scrotum, and this scrotum hangs outside the body in front of the pelvic region. What is the function of testes? It produces male sex cells, that is sperms, as well as the sex hormones also. Because when I explained you about mitosis, meiosis in the previous class, I explained you that testes are the male reproductive organs, and here the male gametes or the sperms are produced in the testes by the germ cells. The germ cells undergoes meiosis and produces the sperms or the male gametes. Sperms are also called as the male gametes. Then next is epididymis. Please see in the diagram. Epididymis is a tube that connects a testicle to the, what is testicle? A testes, which connects the testes to the vas deferens in the male reproductive system. So it connects the vas deferens and the testes, and in epididymis the sperms are stored temporarily. Okay, because sperms are produced in the testes, but here in the epididymis it is stored temporarily. Then we come to vas deferentia. The epididymis, it continues in it, and vas deferentia joins the seminal vessels. You can see in the diagram seminal vessels. The vas deferentia joins the seminal vessels and forms the ejaculatory duct. You can see in the diagram, it is given very clearly. You can see vas deferens, and this vas deferens, it joins the seminal vessels and it is forming a duct which is called as a ejaculatory duct. Is it clear, students? Now, urethra. Urethra is a common passage for urine and sperms. Penis, it is richly supplied by blood vessels and is made up of erectile tissue. Okay. Now, then there are certain accessory glands also. These accessory glands are seminal vessels, Cowper's gland, and the prostate glands. Female reproductive system, it consists of ovaries. The ovaries is a ductless reproductive gland in which the female reproductive cells are produced. You can see the picture. The females have a pair of ovaries which is held by a membrane beside the uterus on each side of the lower abdomen. Okay. Then we come to the fallopian tube. See in the figure. The fallopian tubes are muscular tubes that are lined with delicate hair-like structures. Okay. These hair works in both the direction, helping an egg to travel from the ovary down to the womb. So at one end of the, on either end of the fallopian tube, ovaries are present, and in the ovaries, egg or the ova or the female gametes are produced. And what happens? From the ovaries, the egg, it travels down the fallopian tube to the womb or the uterus. Each fallopian tube ends in a fimbriae, which are finger-like structures. Uterus. The uterus is a hollow muscular organ located in the female pelvis between the bladder and the rectum. The ovaries produces the eggs and travel through the fallopian tubes, and once the egg has left the ovary, it can be fertilized, and once it is fertilized, it can be implanted itself in the lining of the uterus. So I hope it's clear, because uterus is a womb and it has a fallopian tube. On either side of the fallopian tube is present ovary. In the ovary, the ova or the egg or the female gametes are produced. So these female gametes, they travel through the fallopian tube down to the womb, and if the sperms are released in the female reproductive tract, and if they reach the fallopian tube and they meet the egg or the ova, then both of them can fertilize, and in that case what happens, they move to the womb, and in the womb or the uterus it gets implanted. What is fertilization? It is the fusion of sperm and a egg. Okay. Now we come to fertilization. Now in human beings the fertilization is internal. During mating, that is during copulation, millions of sperms are released into the vagina of the female. The process of releasing sperms into the vagina is called ejaculation. So the sperms are highly active and motile. Motile means they can move very fast. So they swim with the help of their tail and pass into the uterus. You can see in the diagram also. The sperms moves into the oviduct. What is oviduct? Fallopian tubes. Fallopian tubes are also called as oviduct. So if there is an egg in one of the oviduct, it gets fused with one of the sperm and forms a zygote. That is two eggs. Even in the picture you can see sites of fertilization. Means here the sperm, it enters the oviduct till this place, and if any egg happens to be here, then it fuses with the egg and it forms zygote. So the fusion of sperms with the egg is called as fertilization. Now after fertilization, a covering is formed around the fertilized egg, okay, which prevents other sperms from entering into it, because millions of sperms are released in the female reproductive tract. And if there is no egg in the oviduct, then no fertilization takes place. Now students, the zygote which is formed in the oviduct, zygote is a two-cell structure. Okay, when the zygote which is formed in the oviduct begins to divide rapidly as it moves down slowly in the oviduct and forms a hollow ball of 100 of cells called embryo. I hope it's clear. So it moves down, it reaches the uterus, and while it moves down, it divides. Okay. The embryo sinks into the soft lining called endometrium of the uterus, and this embedding of embryo in the thick lining is called implantation. So it implants itself, it fixes in the thick lining of the endometrium of the uterus. Some finger-like extensions called villi, which are present in the uterine wall, helps the embryo in fixation. Okay. Now it's very important. The surface firmly binds together, forming a spongy disc-like structure called placenta. It implants itself and a placenta is formed, and the fetus is connected to the placenta in the mother's body through umbilical cord. So through placenta, the exchange of nutrients, oxygen and the waste products takes place. Okay. Now, so this is what happens. So after that the embryo is formed, and the period of complete development of the fetus or the embryo from fertilization till the birth of the baby is called gestation period or pregnancy. The average gestation period of human beings is 9 months. Okay. And the parturition is the act of giving birth to the fully developed fetus. Is it clear? Now, what happens when the egg is not fertilized? Now, when the egg is not fertilized, the lining of the uterus, the egg, along with some blood, because here the vessels, they burst, it is released from the female reproductive tract, and this is called menstruation. And the ova, unfertilized ova, is also released. Okay. Or menstruation cycle can also be defined as the cycle of events that takes place in the female reproductive organ under the control of hormone, marked by menstrual flow in every 28 days. Is it clear? So if the egg is not fertilized, what happens? The egg is released from the female reproductive tract along with the lining of the uterus. After every 28 days, the lining of the uterus prepares it prepares itself for the implantation of a zygote. Okay, and in case if it happens that the ova gets fertilized by the sperm, a zygote is formed, and in that case the zygote gets implanted in the uterus and the menstruation does not occur. But in case if it is not fertilized, then that egg or the ova along with that thick lining of the uterus and the blood vessels rupture, it all is released from the female reproductive tract after every 28 days, and this is called as menstruation. Now, methods of contraception. There are different methods of contraception. Contraception means the birth control methods, the methods which prevents pregnancy, or the method which prevents the fusion of the sperm and the egg. Okay, so that is called as method of contraception. So there are different methods of contraception like long-acting reversible contraceptions such as implanta or intrauterine devices, hormonal contraception such as pills, barrier methods such as condoms, and then there are certain surgical methods also like vasectomy and tubectomy. Okay, so it's given in your book, you can just read it from there. So I have finished with the human reproductive system also, and your homework is that you will read 8.3.3D, which is reproductive health, on page number 138 of NCERT class 10 science. And students, reproductive health is very, very important, so just don't ignore it. Okay, thank you students.